Now, in this video, we are going to cover the 3D transformation. As in the previous video, we saw how the transformation took place along the x and the y axis. Here, when I'll talk about 3D, that means the z axis will also be in the picture. So whatever the transformation will take place using the method like skew, translate, rotate, that will go across the x, y and z axis as well. So let's see a practical implementation of performing the 3D transformation in CSS3.
So likewise, we use the rotate function in the 2D transformation. Here, I'm going to use the rotate x, rotate y or rotate z in the 3D. So depends in how many degree you want to rotate it. You will just pass the axis around which you want to do the rotation. Rest, again, I'm using a div, which is nothing but a box, pink color box with the height 200 pixel, with the height 100 pixel and width 200 pixel. And again, there is a special div in which I'm performing the rotation. So this is the normal div with straight box, and this is the my div in which all the rotation will take place. So let's save it, come to the browser and refresh. So you can see this is rotated to 150 degree using the x-axis. So the whole text is being rotated as well right after that. All right, it is being rotated along with the box. Now it is rotated using x-axis. You can do the same using the y-axis also. So rotate y. So now you can see the whole rotation is take place now according to this axis. Initially it was using the x, now it is taking the y. Alright, so this is rotate y. It is still written x, but now as you know, I'm using rotate y, so let's make it rotate y axis. Alright, so this is y. Alright, similarly you can do the, because it is 3D, there is z axis also, there is z axis, so you can use rotate z as well. So now the rotation will take place as per the z. So let's save it, come to the browser, and here you can see the third dimension of it. Alright, so these are, as I said, these are the things which I'm just using it in the transformation. If you will create a storyboard using the animation, you can see them, you can feel the animation and the transformation taking place. Alright, so in our next video we will learn about the animation, but this is all about the 3D transformation using CSS3.
In this chapter of CSS, we will discuss about the colors. Colors are basically one of the very important aspects whenever we talk about the formatting or giving some attractive look to our web page. So we will learn how and what are the different ways of passing the color for a specific element of the HTML. So here we have 4 different ways of doing the same. First is passing the hexadecimal code, short hexadecimal code, RGB, absolute and keywords. As we know, whenever we talk about a color, all the colors are made up of 3 basic colors, that is red, green and blue. So this RGB combination here will help us out in forming the different colors which we can make. So hexadecimal, short hex code and RGB absolute, that is the red, green, blue absolute, and the keywords. Keywords will help us out in writing the name of a specific color. So here is a short example. The first one is hex code, where we can see I'll start with hash and then I will follow 6-digit value. Alright, that will be from 0 to F anything. Alright, if I'll put 0 means red, green, blue, all are not participating in this thing, so it is going to be black. The first 2 is for the red. As you can see, when I put F in the first 2, it is red, remaining are 0. Similarly, if red and blue are 0, means first 2 is for red, next 2 is for green and last 2 is for blue. So here the mid 2 is for green, so it's going to give you green. Similarly, if you have F in the last and 0 for the remaining, it is going to be blue. Now let's come to the short hexadecimal, where in spite of passing 6-digit value, we'll pass 3 values only, but again followed by hash itself. So 000 means none is participating, that's black. Again, first for red, second for green, and third one is for blue. Then it is RGB absolute, where I will use this RGB function and will pass three different parameters. The first number is for red, second is for blue, second is for green, and third is for blue. So again, this is the RGB. The value can vary from 0 to 255. So if I'll pass 255 in the first, that means it's going to be red. Second, it's for green. Third value is for blue. You can pass different values in all the three parameters to get the different colors available. Keywords. Keywords means you can write the name of the color. That is the simplest way, but it will restrict some of the color variants. Like for example, if you write red, it will give you absolute red, not any other variant which is somehow equal to red. Alright, so this is the keywords. If you want to make some more color combinations, you can use these things. So whenever you want to give the color to the text or to particular background, you can write one of these way of passing the color. So in our next video onwards, we will start working with the colors in a different manner. So far, when we were discussing about CSS, we covered the colors in that. So there we checked what are the different ways of passing a color with the name or using the hexadecimal code. Now here in CSS3 again we are discussing about the colors, but here we will check something different. Like here we will see how to manage the opacity of any particular color, like you want to make it 100% opaque or maybe somewhat transparent. So let's see what all new features are there regarding the colors in CSS3.
So as far as the colors are concerned with CSS3, here we have the same concept as we were having in the normal CSS. That is, we can use the RGB in order to create the various colors. Like here you can see the first parameter is again for red, then G, that is green, and then third one is for the blue. But you can also notice there is a fourth parameter out here which is newly added with RGBA, which is in CSS3. So as far as this alpha is concerned, it will tell you about the how transparent or how opaque you want there to be for a color. Alright, so let's save it for now and let's refresh here. So you can see that this is red, green and blue, but not to the extreme. There is some sort of lightness in the color. That's because of the transparency. If I will increase the value out here, minimum it will be 0, maximum it will be 1, and in between you can give you the decimal value. So as you can see, as I increase the value, it is darker in shade. Similarly, if I will give you 1 here, so it will be at its max, that is the proper red, green and blue. So let's save, and you can see this is the actual color, and as less value I'll give, like 0.1, 0.1 and 0.1. So this will be the lightest shade available in the RGB, like this. Alright, so this is about the transparency. Similarly, you can also use the opacity keyword out here in order to set the opacity. Like here you can see I'm doing the similar thing, but here I'm using another style. I'm using similar RGB method, not RGBA, and apart from that I'm using another keyword, that is opacity, and I'm passing the value 0.6. Alright, so when I'll refresh, you can see it is 0.6, and again, like in alpha we were passing 0.3, 0.3, I can do that as well in the opacity. So these are the things, this is how it will be displayed. Another way of passing the values here for the color, we have the HSL, that is hue, saturation and lightness. So basically in the first parameter, that is hue, you can pass the values like 0, 120, 240, 360. You can pass any values in between also, but these are the things which will give you the absolute colors. Like 0 and 360 will give you red, 120 will give you green, 240 will give you blue. So as here you can see in this current example, I'm using 120. So that means I'm going to set the green. After that, you can make the changes in the saturation and lightness, like how light you want that particular color. Alright, so let's save it and see the output in the browser. So here you can see green, normal green and dark green just because of the change in the lightness in the third parameter. So these are the new things, these are the new ways using the colors in the CSS3.
Now let's talk about cursors in CSS. Basically, cursor is nothing but a mouse pointer which you move while scrolling to a particular web page. By default, you get a mouse pointer which is of arrow shape and you move it along. But as per the different situation, you may come across a need like you want to change the mouse pointer as well. Maybe sometime when it's loading, you want the circular rotational mouse pointer. Sometime you are maybe looking for a finger pointer. So we are going to discuss about the different mouse pointers which are available here, and we can use that in the CSS. So let's start the practical now.
So now let's take a very simple example of the cursors where in a single document itself I have put all the possible values of my mouse cursor. So first one is the auto, means the default one, like your mouse pointer. Now after that you have the plus symbol mouse pointer, that is the crosshair, the default one, pointer. If you want to move the window, that is the different icon, different cursor at that particular time. E-resize, and E-resize means east side, northeast, northwest, depends on the side. If you are resizing a window from any of the side, so that means this is going to be the resize cursor. After that, the text, the cursor which you are seeing right now is the text, weight, which will keep on rotating, depends on the different browser, and help, where it will carry a question mark with itself. So let's come to the browser and refresh. And here, as soon as I will put the mouse, this is the help, weight, text, resize, you can see it is getting changed every time. Alright, so these are the different ways of passing the cursor. Move, pointer, that is the pointed finger which we use generally for hyperlink, the default one, the crosshair, and the auto. Alright, so these are the different options which you can see while working with cursor, and using any particular option you can put it anytime on your DOM as per the requirement.
Now in this video of CSS we'll discuss about the padding. When I say padding, you must have heard about the padding in cell padding while learning the table tag in HTML, where padding means distance between the text and the border. So here also we are talking about the same padding where I can manipulate the space between the text to its border. That border distance may be from the top, from the left, from the bottom, as well as from the right. Depends all on our need. So let's see what all we can do while working with the padding options in CSS.
So here in the example of padding, if I'll just mention padding, that means that I'm taking the distance from the text and the border that will be taken from the left and top. But here I can take the distance from any of the side of the padding, in the padding, right? So here in this current example I'm using padding bottom. So that means the distance of the text and the border will be taken from the bottom side. So let's save this, and if I'll come to the browser, here you can see that the distance is right here from the bottom. This one is the 15 pixel while this one is 5%. Similarly, if rather than padding bottom, I'll say padding top at both the places. So you can see the same distance is coming from the top, and very similarly you can do it for the left and right as well. So let's put it left. Alright, so here you can see the distance is being taken from that side, but since the percentage, and now you can see 5% from there. Alright, I can also use padding right, but here as you can see the alignment is already left and the padding is already taken from the right, so it will not work. So first you can try by yourself by putting the alignment to the right, and then you can try padding right. So these are the things which you can take care while putting the padding, while putting any text inside the border. Now in this example you can clearly see that we have the padding different from all the different sides. Like here in the first paragraph I have used padding 15 pixel, that means it will be 15 pixel from all the four sides. But if I will specify like 10 pixel and space 2%, that means from top and bottom it's going to be 10 pixel and from left and right it's going to be 2%. Similarly, if I'll pass three different values, that means the top is going to take the first one, the bottom is going to take the third one, and the left and right will share the middle value. But here you can see we have the different value for all the four sides. So top is 10 pixel, the first one, then right one is 2 pixel, and after that the top and the right are taking, means the bottom and the left are taking the same values, that is 10 and 10. If you want you can just make the change to check the difference. So I am making the change to 30 pixel. So here the difference is getting increased. Alright, that means the third value is for the bottom and then this one is for the left one. So these are the different ways of passing the different values of padding for all the different sides inside the border.